Okay, let's unpack this. What if the reality you experience? What if it isn't just happening to you?
You mean, what if you're actually shaping it
Yeah.
actively?
Exactly. That's the kind of provocative idea bubbling up from the sources you shared, these articles, research notes. They're exploring something called the Trillium Model of time.
Mm-hmm. And a related hypothesis, too. It's quite a departure from the usual way we think about time.
Right. So our mission today, is a deep dive. We want to pull out the key insights on consciousness, time, this idea of probabilistic reality. Basically get you the essence fast.
Let's start with that Trillium model. It's inspired by the flower, the trillium, with its 3 parts.
Yeah, 3 petals, 3 core values here. First is Megas 1, they call it the reflected wave.
Which is essentially the past's influence, right? Like
Right.
ripples from a pebble tossed in a pond.
Exactly like that. The sources say the past event, your decisions, experiences, they're not just gone, their influence is still there, shaping the present.
Shaping the now. And that now is point zero, the present moment. This is critical in the model.
Critical how? Just like this instant.
Well, it's more than fleeting. The notes suggest it's a dynamic bridge connecting past and future, and crucially, it's where they place this filter.
A filter. Okay, so consciousness is involved here.
That's the idea. Consciousness is in that present moment acting as the filter.
And how does the past, the modical 1, connect to this present filter, the 0?
The model suggests that the state of that reflected wave, the sum total of past influence, it helps determine the nature of the filter right now.
Okay, so the past sets up the conditions for the filter. And then
that leads us to +1, the probabilistic landscape.
sounds big. Like a field of possibilities.
Exactly. Vast potential futures. But, and this is key, it's not just random chance, according to this framework.
So it's influenced by the past Noga 1 and the present filter 0.
Precisely. The past wave Noga 1 flows through the present filter 0, and that interaction shapes what happens in the future landscape, +1.
Okay, this is where my mind started bending a bit, reading these sources.
Hey.
Suggesting consciousness isn't just watching.
Right. Not just a passive observer. The idea is it actively shapes those future possibilities. That filter at point 0, it's influenced by your past and your current state.
My beliefs, intentions, focus, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And that whole present state acts like the sources use analogies, like a polarity filter. Or maybe like a colored lens looking at the future landscape.
Or that spotlight in the fog analogy you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, that works too. The fog is the potential future, +1. Your spotlight shaped by your present, 0, and informed by your past, -1. It highlights certain areas. It amplifies some probabilities, diminishes others.
Making some futures more likely to manifest.
That's the implication. And it's cyclical. The future, +1, you bring into focus, unfolds, becomes the new past, -1, influences the next present filter, 0, and on it goes, a continuous loop.
Okay, so if the present moment filter 0 is where consciousness does its work, what is that consciousness, according to these sources?
Good question. That leads directly into the Awaken One's related hypothesis. The notes here propose something specific.
Specific how?
They suggest 4 particular senses unite to create what we perceive as reality and influence that probability filter.
4 senses, not the usual 5. What are they?
They list mental, so conscious and subconscious thoughts, physical body sensations, internal and external, emotional feelings like fear, love, joy, and visual, which includes perspectives, how we literally see things, but also figuratively.
Mental, physical, emotional, visual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the hypothesis is that combination is the consciousness acting as the filter in the Trillium model.
That's the core proposal, yes. And they connect it directly to physics, interestingly, to the double slit experiment.
Okay. Where observing changes the outcome from a wave of possibilities to just one particle.
Exactly. That collapse of the wave function. This hypothesis suggests these 4 attributes, your combined mental, physical, emotional, visual state, are the observer.
Wow. So my total state of being right now, processed through that point 0 filter, that's what collapses the probability wave.
It's what collapses it from the vast +1 landscape, yes. Your observation, seen through the lens of these 4 senses and the polarity they create, determines which probability actually manifests as your reality.
So, is time then, like simultaneous, the past, present possibilities, future potentials, makes 1, 0, +1, all existing until my conscious state, defined by these 4 senses, interacts now at 0 and makes one outcome real?
That seems to be the radical idea they're putting forward. It's definitely a different way of looking at things.
And the potential payoff for thinking this way. The sources mention understanding past influence better.
Right, and maybe even the possibility, just the possibility, mind you, of subtly nudging future probabilities by consciously shifting your focus within those four senses in the present moment.
Integrating ideas about consciousness and reality.
But it's crucial, as the sources themselves emphasize, this is a framework, a hypothesis. It needs a lot more exploration, verification.
Absolutely. A necessary caveat, it's a model for thinking, not established fact.
Definitely, but quite a perspective shift to consider.
So wrapping this up, what this deep dive has unpacked is a framework suggesting that your consciousness may be composed of your mental, physical, emotional, and visual states, might not just be watching reality unfold.
It might be actively participating, filtering possibilities, shaping what comes next.
So if your current reality is partly a result of that past reflected wave filtered through your present state of being across those four senses, here's something to think about.
What subtle conscious shift in your focus right now, maybe in your thoughts, your feelings, how you're perceiving things, what tiny nudge might that give to the vast landscape of future possibilities in your very next moment?